There we are.
There we are.
Good evening.
Have you come down yet from your birthday, or are you still buzzing?
Oh no, I've been sedated since then. So let's. Oh, how's everyone? Hopefully everyone's good. Everyone's great.
Yeah,
just a news break. I create the live stream so that y'all can come in and wait if you want to, but we don't ever start until 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 6, 5. So just so everyone knows, when you get here, the reason we're not here is because it's created early so that y'all can come in. That's why it's
there.
So today, let me start with some other news. First, Jen is in Sedona. Becca's camping, I do believe. And thank you, Lena Rodriguez, for joining me.
My pleasure.
Lori from The Way of Positive Change is having surgery in about an hour for appendix emergency. She's in the ER. So y'all send your prayers and your healing and good things like that. Send some protection because she's had a lot of issues going on. She had a broken foot and ankle or something like that. Now this. So y'all send some protection and some healing to Lori from The Way of Positive Change.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to donate? We're not doing personal readings. So just keep that in mind. So thank you all to everyone coming out. We'll start in about a minute or two, but make sure you all pray for Lori. She's having surgery in about an hour or so.
Oh, bless her. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I haven't had surgery myself for the first time in my life. You know, whenever that was, a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the staff in most hospitals do such an amazing job, you know. And so I'd like to give a tribute to all nurses while we're here.
Hardest working people on earth.
Next to teachers.
Yes. Yes. I had surgery twice if you included taking out a tooth that was ruining my life, but
no, you can't count the tooth. That's just wrong, isn't it? To get a rotten tooth out is such. And
it was the week before Thanksgiving, so that was fun. Thank you, Roberta. That was fun. Thank you, Impish.
Oh, Debbie has a daughter-in-law who's a new nurse. Oh, bless.
Hopefully she likes it. Hopefully they don't run her off. They need them.
Yeah. So need them.
So we're going to start with some unneeded things.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Ryan and Donald Trump, very much unneeded. So let's start there.
Well,
will this fight escalate? What's going to happen around it? Where the energy's in it? Donald Trump has come out and said that Paul Ryan is a rhino, Republican in name only. He did his favorite jab, called him a loser. And he said he is a curse on the Republican Party. So now
he has a way with words, doesn't he?
I mean, it takes one to know one, right?
Exactly.
Because if he's not the curse, I don't know who is. But Donald Trump and Paul Ryan, is that relationship going to get worse? Are they going to basically have their own little civil war where his side versus that side?
Yeah.
What's going to happen there?
Okay, Paul Ryan and Trump. Paul Ryan. It's funny how you sort of really dislike these people as individuals, but when they come under the Trump sort of dark cloud, you feel sorry for them. Go, what's that? You know,
because he's got control of all your people, but Paul Ryan is one of the people who enabled him.
Absolutely, and Paul Ryan also is a great fan of Ayn Rand, and she was weird. And he wrote these books, Fountainhead and something else, that were these right-wing sort of tomes back in the day and saying, government shouldn't pay for anything and everything. And Ayn Rand ended up on Medicaid dying alone. And I'm not surprised, she went out of her way to poison people against each other, Yeah, but that's Paul Ryan. Are you ready? You want to go?
You go ahead.
Why don't you lead off?
Oh, me? Okay. I was hoping this card would come up. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Cold Toast. I was hoping it would come up not because of who we're reading on, but because this is the Titanic deck, and I was wondering, what this card in particularly would look like. I would have done it differently, but it's still here. So there's the Knight of Coins, or the Knight of Pentacles. So we have the steady on person, the reliability. We also have maybe possibly some mercenary work, some go out and attack work. Because I have the Tower card here.
Oh, yeah.
This in particular ship, this is very fitting, actually. This in particular ship is going down because of the hubris of mankind. The unsinkable Donald Trump, or the unsinkable Republican Party. Who knows which one it is just yet, but their relationship has hit the iceberg, as it will. And this is going to crumble. The Four of Swords and the Three of Swords. In this in particular instance, doing nothing does not help.
Yeah.
And so it is going to end in heartbreak and tragedy and sorrow, because your relationships, the Lover's card, the Hierophant, they are still burdened with the Ten of Wands by the person drunk on power. So the relationship is going to get worse because Donald Trump still believes he is in charge. So there you go. That's what I get.
Yeah. I've got that Paul Ryan, in a way, he's the figurehead for those who have been swept out. I mean, he chose to step aside, which was probably a very clever move as an individual. But here, because it's on top of the world card, he's representing all those who are prepared to take him on. And he gets the sun on his side. I've got it in two sides here. He gets the sun on his side. It's almost as if he's the willing sacrifice for the others coming behind. It's like he's got stronger by being out of the fray. Right? They're beginning behind the scenes, because I got the Three of Swords too. Behind the scenes, they're calling each other, the Paul Ryans and everyone else who's been cast out, and they're doing serious conversations now about they think of it, I think, as reinventing the party, but I think it's beyond that. It's actually got to split for them to move forward. So he still sees it as saving the party, as he's been called, but Trump doesn't figure in this at all, which is interesting. And Paul Ryan's going to end up with the broken heart over this. Yeah, hello. Yeah, so Trump didn't turn up. It was all about Paul Ryan, but I think he's got his work cut out for him, and it's not going to succeed as an endeavour, I can see it happening, but it's not going to be the answer. You know what I mean?
It's the Little Shop of Horrors, as I said yesterday. you fed the plant, and now you can't kill it.
That's right.
Now wants more and more and more. Thank you, Angel Star Karma. Thank you, Dolores, Larry, and Marie for your super chat. Senate Republicans have blocked the January 6th commission.
Yeah, that's a surprise.
I mean, why? That's what I want to know why. Thank you, Patty. Just we're going to start there. Why? And then I have follow-up questions.
Yeah. Why?
I mean, we can get why, but I want to see what the cards say.
Yeah, right.
Tell me a little more.
Yeah.
Because this is supposed to be the most egregious thing that they've lived through. Why is it that you wouldn't want to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. And to stop other people getting to the bottom of it, we've got nothing to hide. What's that about?
I mean, I get it. You're at the bottom. That's why. But show me why.
Why? Why? Oh, Jesus, heavy cards. Heavy, heavy cards. Shall I go?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. They see it as bringing peace. Let's just move on from here. It's not going to be good for us. You know, we're just going to the other side, wanting to not have to deal with it and try and keep an even keel with temperance. But they're in the dark over how this will play out, because I think although they know certain people were active players, but from here on, it just gets worse and worse. Death and the devil. So it's like they're signing up for a sinking ship. You've got the Titanic deck. By not doing this, this is actually going to hasten their end and that split, you know, as I see it. And then there's the Page of Swords. This could be the new, where am I? There. This could be the reinvention in a way of what they hope. This is all about their hopes, right? Not what's really happening. This is what they think. And they think they can then outweigh the devil, that he will die symbolically, like end, and that they'll resurrect from this and be able to attract new people to their cause. So that's their thinking. That's their thinking.
Yeah. And Catherine had a good question. I wonder if they would still think this way if they had actually successfully caught Mike Pence and hung him.
Well,
you know,
this is the thing with this, horrendous as it is, and you'd think it'd be really different if that had happened. But if they didn't actually kill Pence outright, I don't know that the reaction would have been different.
The way they behave.
You know, there's no bottom. We keep saying this over the years. They have no floor.
That is true.
So I wonder about that too, but I don't know that it'd be different, you know.
Well, let's read on it and see.
Now, what have you got?
I get the reason they blocked is because of the heavy burden. My camera used to be over here. Now I'm not reading. Yeah. There is a burden here with the Ten of Wands. That's the first thing that comes up. There is a King of Swords and the Tower. This would create way too many problems for their administration. They still don't. Some of them are not even acknowledging that Biden is their president. So there's something there that they don't want torn down. Mitch McConnell, his funky behind, he got on TV and said that we should not be looking at past administrations because that's over. We should be looking at what this administration is doing to us. Not doing for us, doing to us. This administration. Never mind that one. That one's over and done with. People stormed the Capitol and were trying to harm people. And that's okay. It's in the past. Leave it alone. Like, okay, fine.
And it's 5 minutes ago. It's not as though it's ancient history.
This is not ancient history. But they're burdened by this and they don't want to reveal anything.
Yeah.
Well, let's look. Can we look and see if it would have been different?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Let's ask if Pelosi or Pence.
Yeah. It would have been different.
Would it have been different? If they'd gone for Pence and Pelosi.
Oh, thank you, Catherine, for the super chat.
Oh, that is so kind of you guys. Oh, these are all battle cards. What have you got?
I start with the World, and
I got the World too.
the Three of Cups. There is, I think, I'm going to say no. The Six of Swords is how it ends. There's still a transition. The Ten of Swords, if somebody would have been harmed, the Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands. If somebody would have been harmed, it would have been more of a play it by the book. Oh, we thank them for their service and they were a good person. We may have just disagreed politically and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Let's move forward. Let's heal the country. But I don't think a commission would have been started and all that. Like, no, because I get the Eight of Pentacles. There's your commission. And then the Eight of Cups, there's your walking away. I don't think they would have.
No, and I agree. This is the card of ruthlessness. You know, it wouldn't have made any difference. They'd keep fighting, you know, the way they are. And the Nine of Wands, yeah, they just don't, they're all these battle cards. They would have behaved exactly the same if there'd been 25 dead or if Pence had been rounded up or whatever. They're so fixed. They're so fixed. It's bizarre in a allegedly modern country.
Mm-hmm. Which just lets you know they didn't care in the beginning. All they wanted was some sort of mayhem.
Yeah, and there was that window of 2 or 3 days after the event where they were all genuinely freaked out, outraged. There was that window, and then the window slammed shut.
So since they have blocked it, I believe the article I was reading was saying that the House did this during Iran-Contra, where Nancy Pelosi, and mind you, when we were doing our readings on the birthday thing, she popped up. Well, a Queen of Wands popped up. I figured it must have been a judge or somebody on the outside. I didn't think Nancy Pelosi because she's not in the Senate. But they said she can start her own independent commission. So will she? And the second part of that was what? Oh, if she will, yes or no, and what will be revealed if she starts her own independent commission. She doesn't need a Republican support.
Important, isn't it? Yeah. Nancy Pelosi doing her own commission.
And she has subpoena power if she does.
Well, that's a sub-issue, isn't it? Will they turn up for their subpoenas again or not?
And there was something in the past about you can, of course, go and plead the fifth, but there is something about some sort of rule that can compel testimony.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's see if she will. And
do it. And what will it look like? And what will it cover? Nancy. Oh, little page for us. Well, I think I got the Eight of Pentacles too, you know, we'll call it the commission card. So I think it will go ahead. But the Moon, so many things won't be told. So many things will be obscured, you know, and untruths and lies and deception in every way. They, meaning Nancy and the good guys, will push on. We've got 2 wands here. This is the compelling speaker. Someone will emerge from the commission, there we go, whose voice I think will penetrate the fog. And I think it could be one of the younger members, you know, who is going to have a bit of cut through with the public. So it's going to, I think of the Knight of Wands in a way like a rocking horse going forward, but being reined in, that rocking horse movement. So I think the testimony is going to be really uneven. Like there'll be a burst forward and something, and then someone else will only say the minimum or plead the fifth, and then someone else will speak and someone else won't. I'm getting this movement, like this. But at the end of the day, the King of Wands, who would be in charge of this? Do you know?
She can make an independent committee. So it's not said yet, but she can make a committee for people.
That would make sense. That's who I think is represented here in the King of Swords. They'll weigh it up. They'll be very reasonable, as the Dems are. But I think we've got to sort of tack another question maybe onto this when you've had your initial thing, which is, how will the public receive it? Yeah. Are they going to have politic fatigue, or are they going to be riveted? I think that's important. So what have you got for this part of it, Johnny?
So thank you, Linda C. And she says she's a big fan of Lena, and you were the first one she ever started watching.
Oh, bless.
So I get the Chariot is the first card. So
it will take
moving forward, but it is crossed by the Five of Cups. So it's going to have a bit of riding the bike through the mud type of thing, to where you're going, but you have a lot to go up against. Here with the King of Pentacles, this is your dependability and your reliability on a major scale, and then it is crossed with the Two of Swords. So there will be some pushback naturally because they're trying to cover something up. Let's just be honest about that. And so what you have right now is you can send the subpoena out, you come talk to me, but just like Lena said, there's a lot of pushback. There's a lot of I'm not answering. There's a lot of vague answers. If you're under oath, then you may not lie, but you definitely aren't going to tell the whole truth. But there is someone here with the Page of Wands and the Six of Swords who does have a success in moving this forward. It's just like I said, it's going very slish-slosh right now, but the Seven of Swords, there's a lot of deception here too.
Yeah, I reckon.
So this is not going to be an easy thing. The Five of Pentacles is also here, so it's not going to be easy, and it's going to take some time. So all y'all take the deep breath now, but let's look at what would the public think about this. I like that question.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that really matters, isn't it? Doesn't matter how good the lawyers are or anything else. It's whether the public hangs in and okay, let's look at the American public. How do they react to the commission's findings, I guess, or the process? How do they relate to the process? How do they relate to the process? American public. My God, this is so important. I'm almost scared to read. Oh, God. How will the American public react? You know what? I think the Dems have to, and they're spectacularly bad at this, they have to engage people emotionally right now. The GOP, that's how they're clever at that. They get people to vote generation after generation against their own interests because they emotionally have them. Right. So the Dems, if they're going to have success with this, have to, and here's the Knight of Cups as well, an emotional offer. They have to make that connection for people of why it affects them and the very foundations of society. That's over and above the Constitution. What it means to be American, they have to tap into the dream and present it in that way. Then comes the challenge for them, which is, I think this is, that to convince the public they've been ripped off, convince the public they're being held hostage to this immoral, corrupt cabal of self-serving idiots. And they've got to, this is their one big chance. I think even the future of the midterms and everything else rests on their ability here to engage America in order for the country to start anew, right? So that's my feeble contribution, but I think it's important. They've got to get people here. People aren't listening. They need to feel it.
I get the same thing. I get the Five of Cups. We're dealing with, I've seen somebody in the chat say, will this nightmare ever end? It's politics, so kind of not. It's just going to be replaced by different people. But the Five of Cups, you have a bit of crying over the spilled milk here, but everything is not lost. Like, when Dawn got in, then, you know, we could sort of picture the smoking crater. Thank God he wasn't competent enough to bring it about, but we could picture it, right?
Yes.
But it wasn't all lost, because there were still people in this country who were willing, not just politicians, but the everyday people who were trying to save their own country from tyranny, like literally. So here you have the Temperance. There is some working together that needs to happen, but there is also some engagement of the people who have this feeling that the government needs to do the this for that, the balancing of emotion. There is some reassurance that this is the time that the Nancys and the Chuck Schumers and the Joe Bidens and the Kamala Harrises are supposed to come out and say everything's okay. We're trying to do this. We're going to work on that, such and such and such and such. Keep us abreast of what is happening. That way we don't just wonder if anybody's ever going to be brought to justice.
Yes.
These Seven of Cups, you have to keep them in the loop. You have to keep your people engaged. I know there's a lot going on and they're trying to do everything before the midterms, because you know how that's going to go. Yeah. So I get it. I get it, but you still need to keep people informed. This is not an easy job, but you signed up for it, so therefore you must do it. But I get here with the Moon card and the Ace of Swords. There will be some clarity. We will get to the bottom of some things, not everything, but some things. You will, at the very least, have a suspicion probably confirmed with this suspicious card, and then the Ace of Swords. There will at least be that. Six of Swords, Six of Wands. We will see some progress. Now, mind you, with the Six of Swords, there is baggage with this progress, and there is also a lot of turbulence you have to go through before you get to the calmer waters. You don't just drop into calm seas. You have to get through the turbulence first. The High Priestess, just especially if I start with the Moon card and end with the High Priestess, this is still open-ended. This is not going to end anytime soon. Again, take a deep breath. Lena was one of the psychics that I watched on YouTube that was telling us from the beginning, when everybody was like, oh, Donald's going to go in March. Oh, Don's going to go in May. She said, things take time. He's not leaving no time soon. So calm down with the when is he leaving talk. There's other things here. And so these things take time. And I know everybody wants to see his whole syndicate probably in jail tomorrow, but that's not going to happen. These things take time. Okay. But that's what I get.
Yeah.
So what will actually be revealed in her commission? Will she find us some names? Will she find us some hidden money? What will she find us? Anything?
What will she find? Oh, how intriguing. What will she find? Oh, what What's it? Let's see. What's going to come out? What will they call it? Yeah. Oh God, the Seven of Swords is getting a workout today.
Oh, mercy. I get a bit of, this is going to be my riot card with the Knight of Swords, that erratic energy.
Okay, yeah.
There is some money behind that. I always said this, though, or always thought this anyway. Everybody there was not, they did not all have the same agenda. There were some people who were there because Donald whipped them up, but there were some people who were paid to be there. And so I think that there will be a bit of a following of the money when it comes to the riots.
And even if that's in the form of paying for a bus for them to get there or something, it's significant. Yeah.
There's some money there. There's a lot of allegiances, and some of them are on the world stage. So we might see a politician or two that has a very conspicuous conversation. Like, there may not be a direct link between me talking to you and you acting on the Capitol, but there will be a, why did you speak to them in the first place? Well, we're going to be talking about, and then that's when you complete the fifth and blah, blah, blah. But here with the High Priestess and the Star, two majors, and we have one of secrets and one of future. So there will be some conversations that are transcribed, is what I'm getting from this. There will be some conversations out of the out of phones, out of text message, emails, because mind you, just because you did it in secret or you whispered does not mean that there's not a record of it somewhere. If you're going to do something crazy, you need to meet in person. Stop with the telephone and the text messages, because all that's traceable.
Yeah.
But I get the tracing of money and conversations. That's what I get.
I certainly hope so. I get Queen of Wands first up, which I think is Nancy in this context. And they're overlooking, this was the theft of the election, not just the little things in it, the original theft. It's all become so muddy, you know, both sides saying the big lie, who has the biggest lie. But this is about the deliberate, planned Two of Wands. This is what I think will come undone when they find they might be lower level lawmakers or something who were in this, but they did actually plan to steal the election. In other words, they knew it wasn't, the actual votes and everything that Trump thought it was. They knew what they were doing, and they were part of that planning. The going around in circles arguing, I think people are going to dob other people in or squeal on other people as it goes round, as it becomes more serious. And the magician, like, are they going to be able to weasel out of it, or is this going to be a revelation for the American public about what's happened? It could go either way, I think, at this point. And with this card, it's a case of the magician is extremely powerful. It's whether it's good juju or bad juju, you know. So it's like, it's big. It's the forces are really going to collide in this. It's going to be quite fascinating, actually. We're going to get ripples of it, thanks to Rachel Maddow and whoever, Ari Melba and so forth. But this is actually a significant battle for the heart and soul and reality of America, because these people are not doing any governing. They're only self-promoting in the rest of their life. And this is going to bring them back with a bit of a clunk but they're going to try and hide it, do the magician's tricks with this doesn't mean that, this means something else. So we're all going to have to be alert to the magic tricks that are going on and be prepared for those. But they're going to have to, I don't know how they're going to actually do it, but I suspect they'll emerge, but they will emerge tarnished. They will be struck at some point with a significant blow, you know. But I don't think it's clean cut and 7 of them going to jail or anything easy and rational.
They're definitely going to fight the whole way, do their own Republican trickery. This is why you need Dems to go to the backbone store and get the strongest one they can find and make people cooperate. Just like if this were on the other side, this would be a completely different conversation. If a bunch of Whole Food Market vegan Democrats went and rushed the Capitol.
That's right. That's right. And they have to get better at putting their story out. They're really bad at it. You know, Dems will sit there and bend your ear for 3 hours about clause 2 and paragraph 6, but they're really not good at the soundbite. Mm-hmm. And I think they should pick a team right now, I hope they are, who are going to be the spokespeople throughout the commission, and they have to have that killer soundbite phrase ready every day to put that day's work into one soundbite that goes boom, you know.
Thank you, Lisa Love Animals, as well. So what I got next, let me cross her out here.
Oh, Pamela, thank you. Pamela says, we read well together, but I do miss Becca and Jen Lynn. Yeah, exactly. I think the team's great. Yeah. That's awesome.
And for those who just coming in, Jen is in Sedona and Becca is in the woods somewhere.
Okay, good luck with that.
And pray for Lori too from the Way of Positive Change. She's having surgery in about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, someone has suggested Hakeem Jeffries is perfect for the soundbite. I think they need 2 or 3 of them who can actually just make it crystal clear and they don't deviate. They just keep putting it.
Swalwell out there too.
Swalwell's very good too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They need to put them out there.
Bring up some emotion. Are the Republicans going to start praising the rioters now? Because 2 of them so far have, and there's a reason for that question too. But are they going to start praising them? They've now called them tourists. They used to be tourists, but now they're tourists. And they called the woman who got shot in the neck for trying to jump through a place where she wasn't supposed to be. They called her a hero. Are they going to start praising them now?
I might move to my other cards for this and see what happens. The terrorist tourists. Are they going to be praised? Oh, there was a quote from Biggie saying, and if you don't know, now you know. I love that. Okay. How are they going to praise these hideous people? And what's weird too is the lawyer for, I don't even like to call him the theatrical shaman character, but he's saying all these people are brain damaged and stupid. Now, out of his mouth, he's obviously building a defense around that. These people were so stupid, Your Honor, they didn't really mean anything by it. But are they going to be praised? I'd have to say yes. Here they are literally, in the spotlight and people applauding them. I don't even need any more cards. However, it's next to the devil, so they're praising this demonic behavior. But I think that's going to hit a certain wall, because I'd like to think a lot of mom and dad middle Americans were a bit horrified by the pictures they saw, and we're going to see more pictures. We saw the same sort of 6 or 8 minutes over and over, but there was worse footage, and we're going to see it. So I don't know that this strategy is going to work. And it's going to present the GOP with a crossroads. I think it's going to work short term. They're going to put it out there. And you know how they always act in unison, the GOP. One thing comes out and they all just comply. I think a few of them are going to get caught up in this when it looks worse and worse, because this is going to take 6 months before there's a report and stuff. And this is the Two of Swords. It will mean they'll be at a crossroads, because they've missed the window to reinvent themselves as a recognisable, ethical party, for want of a better word. They missed that chance over and over with the Yeti, and then January 6th. And so this could be their last hurrah as a one party, I think.
Which is our next question. But okay. I get the Knight of Cups. So yes, there is your praise right there.
Yeah.
It is coupled with the Moon and the High Priestess, though, which means this is not genuine or anything of that nature.
Yeah, no, that's right.
They are trying to tap into the people who think that was a good idea.
Yeah,
right. Do that to your own country. And so they want those people to know that we don't see you as nut jobs or treasonous. We see you as patriots trying to fight for your freedoms and your blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, they are going to start doing that. And that brings me to, well, let me do this one first, and then we'll tie that in. Mm-hmm. Michael Flynn again is going to go speak to a Quackernon conference. They're calling it Patriot Roundup. So there they got Mike Flynn's going to be there. Sidney Powell is going to be there. All of the stars are going to be there. And so they are going to go and speak to them. Thank you, Sue. What I want to know is, what are they going to go and speak about?
Right.
Are they just trying to whip up support for something?
And Michael Flynn's a weird one, because he's old enough to have bought the USA narrative, all his life, working through that. Then he went and did all these bad things for money. Then he admitted his guilt. Then he got offered a wriggle out. So then he's double turned. I mean, he's hard to work out.
He's got OJ syndrome. OJ got away with murder, as they say, and then wrote a book, What If I Did It? And then it's like you got away from it, but then you keep trying to inch closer back to it for whatever reason. Get away, Mike Flynn. You got your out. You should be somewhere in the middle of France somewhere, but no.
Yeah, really. And I will take this opportunity to say O.J. Simpson tried to pick me up at a party in 1979.
Oh, no.
That's in his heyday, when he was the juice, and he was having crime. And that was a near miss. He had the worst pickup lines you've heard in your life.
Bullet dodged.
How funny. Sorry, what's that question? Flynn, what are they going to go talk about? What they're talking about.
Because that leads into the next question.
Okay. What have you got on that, Johnny? While I gather
there is drumming of support and votes and things of that nature. I get the Ace of Pentacles has had starts. With the Nine of Cups, your desires and wishes.
Oh.
They want everything and anything. They are trying to drum up a base. They're trying to create a base.
Mm-hmm.
7 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands. They want something to rely upon, that harvest to come in at a later date, possibly with the 3 of Wands, waiting on that ship to come in. So when it's time to call for action, they got a pocket of people ready to go. The moon is here with the 9 of Wands. So there is some uncertainty about the future because they don't know right now how will you defeat Democrats going forward, especially with the last 4 years not being ancient history. And then it ends in the death and the devil. So, they are trying to change something for the worse. And mind you, I say for the worse, but the cards say for the worse too, because I think a Quackernon administration would be for the worse. Thank you, Jeff. That's not opinion. That's what they say. If you don't believe me, get your own cards and you do your own reading. But that's
Well, I got the reference to Biden too. I think they're going to try and demonize Biden. Now, they've got their work cut out for them because he's the ultimate nice guy. There might be other criticisms of Biden, but he is actually hard for them to pin down and make into that guy that they want. So they're going to sow seeds of confusion, not surprising, about reality, and just tell people it's Biden's fault, and offer them all these deluded options, But then it's the little spread radically turns on the wheel of fortune. I think this is going to go against them in the sense that I think Flynn here is trying on the emperor outfit because he brings the cachet from his first life as this four-star general or whatever he is. So you listen to him as a patriot, and even though he's sold out the country. So Flynn himself has got a lot to answer for with this hard-nosed. I don't think he's altogether comfortable with this. I think he's being used. And I think this is a trade-off for those who helped him get out. And I think he's very uncomfortable in this. And if he could find a way out, he would. This is looking for his ship to come in. But in his case, I think he's going to say something like, after he does this circuit, I'm not prepared to do this anymore or something. I don't see him going on and on in this role because there must be lots of others who served with him, who knew him, who have his phone number, who are saying, what the hell is going on here with you, Mike Flynn? So I think that he's the hinge in some way. If he were to flip back at any point and say, I was really taken on a ride, and I'm going to take my medicine now, that could be devastating for their attempts to use other people. But I don't know if he's brave enough to do that. But I think he's thinking it. I think in his fantasies, he stands up and does the good Flynn thing. But I don't know if he's strong enough as a human being to do it.
Because I always get the impression that not a fish out of water per se, but that his gut is telling him not to do certain things, but his allegiance to his freedom is telling him to do the wrong thing. I just don't think inside that he wants to go along with what he's doing, but he's doing it anyway.
No, and even back in those lock her up chant things, his heart wasn't in it. It was like lock her up. And he sold out then. He didn't have to be part of that,
So are they going to form a new because this is kind of how the Tea Party kind of started.
Yeah.
These group of people, Sarah Palin and all them people, going out with their little chants, and next thing you know, they're a party. So
Right.
are they going to form a new Quackernon party and just call it something else?
Yeah, because this is important because they can go two ways with this. They could erode the GOP from the inside, or they can go their own way. So let's see. I'm quite interested in that question now. Will they start their own party?
Thank you, Nancy.
Patriot Party. I'm kind of getting a yes.
Yep.
Will I go?
If you want.
Yeah, well, they're definitely not only thinking about it, they're making steps towards it. The Eight of Pentacles, it's started. Their problem is they keep arguing with each other because who's going to head up this party, you see? And it's a mob of narcissists, and so they're going to have issues with each other. And this is what happens with any group that has any degree of success. And you'd have to say they're successful in undermining the country already, in getting people to disbelieve the election results, et cetera, et cetera. So they've had some success. But now, like with any big group, it starts to turn in on itself.
Mm-hmm.
Their charm and what they're selling is the fantasy of what America used to be like, in their view, what America should be like, and all of that nostalgic crap, right? That's what they're peddling. It's also their distortion of justice. The very fact that it gives me the screaming irrits, the way the right wing always claim a flag and patriotism. It's not unique to America. Everywhere always does that. So they're claiming that basically God has divined that they should start this party. I think it's gaining momentum. Here's the new party, and here's the new leader. So I would have to say yes.
Yep, that's what I get. It starts with the Knight of Wands, so there is some progression here. There's also some actions that they are going to continue to take. The Seven of Pentacles and the Temperance kind of lets me know, like Lena said, that this is kind of already started. The Seven of Pentacles is the seeds in the ground, and the Temperance would be your watering and your of those seeds. And it just hasn't come to fruition just yet. But the World card is here. There will be a time where this is complete and they do emerge. However, in the past, Republicans do one thing very, very, very well: unite. And when it is time for them to run for president or whatever, they all come together, no matter what they call themselves: Freedom Party, Patriot Party, Green Eyed Peas Party, whatever. They all come in together and become one thing. This time is a little different because you have the old wing, the Bushes and the Cheneys and the Paul Ryans and the Mitt Romneys, the people who think that they're moderate and they are trying to do things the Republican conservative way. And then you have the Quackerdons who are nuts. And so it's them versus them. And so, yes, you have them coming to a completion at some point, but there will be some isolation. And so I think what is going to happen is, yes, they'll make their new party and they'll get their base to follow them, but their base is not enough to get the presidency. Their base is enough to disrupt the Senate and the House, maybe, but the presidency is not the same, because they're going to try to, like, say, for instance, not that this is going to happen, but they'll vote for Donald, but the rest of the people will vote for Mitt Romney, whatever, for the moderate, and then they will vote for the crazy, and then they lost again. So it's going to be interesting to see if they destroy each other, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. Oh, and someone just said in the comments too, and Flynn's still collecting his retirement money.
Yes, he is.
How can you have it both ways like that?
Because I won't go there either, but I wish the DOJ and all these dropping of lawsuits, they need to come out and say something too.
Yeah.
I did this one. So let's see. Will there be, since the midterms is what, next year?
Yeah.
Will there be another coup attempt if things don't go the Republican way? Will they try to storm some other building or whatever the case?
It's a big question, isn't it? Because they've paved the way now. What else? You know, the circular firing squad. Yeah, I love that. That was Larry Hogan who said that originally. And the religious right climbing into bed with Donald Trump. Yeah, that's right. All right. Sorry, I've blanked, Johnny. What is it?
Will there be another coup attempt after the midterms?
Yeah.
Or riots or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, yeah, something might be happening on July 4. You can see them co-opting that too. We should have a look at that. Let's just quickly dip into the midterms. I'm sure all of us as readers will be covering everything between now and then.
Cool.
So this is just a look now at what will happen at the midterms. Let's see what this is about. Oh. Yeah, I wonder. These people are seriously deluded, you know. Oh, my God. Yeah. What have you got, huh?
I got, yes, there'll be a protest and they will, of course, you can't leave the house without a gun bigger than you because why would you? I mean, you know, you might get attacked by birds or something. I don't know. I don't know where they're, as I always say, you're not brave. If you think you're brave, go fight ISIS. You can't walk around free countries with a gun and think you're bad. That's
yeah,
not how it
really.
works. But I get the Six of Cups, something from the past, something very familiar, the Fool card, and it ends in the Sun and the Five of Swords. So yeah, there is still that.
I think so. Mine starts with the Five of Cups equivalent, the Five of Tides. I'm hoping that means that there'll be, if there is a reaction, it's because they've lost the midterm. So let's hope and pray, but I can't promise that. But it does start with loss, followed by the High Priestess and the very not so secret agenda, which is disruption at any price. See, a lot of these people, if you're born into the evangelical backwater heartland or whatever, life is quite dull just waiting for your next trip to church. For some of these people, this is exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Right. This is more action than they've seen since God knows when. So they're getting progressively drawn into it, right? And that's why the delusion, you know, the delusion is bigger than reality. And I think it's also, if you just hang out with like-minded people in any echo chamber, that's all you hear. So they will be whipped up prior to the midterms. Here they are out on the streets or setting fire to things or something to do with fire, some spectacular sort of action led by a woman, and there's no shortage of completely rat bag, as we say in Australia, rat bag women. You know, you've got your Marjorie Taylor Greens, you've got no end of them. But a woman's going to be the highly vocal mouthpiece for this, and followed by the 10 of Cups. The confusion is over what it means, what America means, what they're actually fighting for. All this, they're going to keep up this rhetoric of, we are the real Americans, etc., etc. But it's a bit of a voice in the wilderness if they do lose. So yes, expect something or a few things, a campaign even, for sure. But I think people are going to get sick of this sort of aggro,
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of that, though, you had a question on the Trump support over the summer here.
Yeah, let's have a look at that.
Is it dying down? I think it is, because he's becoming increasingly obsolete. Like, he can't keep it going.
And you've got to praise the awful, what's his name with Facebook, Zuckerberg or whoever, who fought and screamed to not shut anybody down or be responsible in any way. But because he's off Facebook and Twitter, he must feel like his wings are clipped, because nothing else takes it. And his new blog failed.
Yeah.
Yes, blog written by someone else, anyone else, oh my God. So on one hand, he is fading, but people get all weird and in your face over summer as soon as it gets hot. So let's have a look at the Trump supporters over summer. Trump supporters over summer. Well, yes, the fool.
I always, from the beginning of reading on him, I've always, and every reader I've watched, that is the card that comes up for Donald Trump. And so it's like, not even like we're insulting him. That's what comes up. That's how spirit.
No, that's right. That's right. How funny. So what have you got going on there?
I get it does go down a lot. The 4 of Pentacles and 9 of Pentacles, they are afraid to lose. He is afraid to lose. Everybody, they're afraid to lose something. Now, mind you, the 4 of Pentacles is a warning card of sorts. It is telling you that there may be time to save. It also is telling you that you can't, if you're holding on to something because you're afraid to lose, you can't let anything in either. I know you don't want anything to get out, but nothing comes in either, which is why the next card is the 5 of Pentacles, which just means you lost everything. And so over time, he's going to become increasingly burdened. His support is going to become increasingly burdened. I think he's going to stick to a certain number and not move with that 10 of Wands. And then there's Justice and 9 of Swords, like his life.
Oh, I love that. Love that.
His life gets harder and harder and harder and harder. So it's, his support is going to tank, and what has been anyway. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. I think this is the Fool in this deck, the Japaridze deck, is a high wire act without a net, right? So I think you've got individuals, particularly men, who have a shed full of ammunition and nothing left to shoot in their immediate radius, and all of that mentality. But there's a feeling, this to me feels like Trump on the high wire, and he'll try and whip them up secondhand. This is the Knight of Cups, which is Trump at his ultimate lying, fiendish best, of saying to them, do it for me, do it for me. He's really going to push the emotional buttons with people, for sure. But there's so much hot air. They're just going to drift off into cyberspace. So I think there will be some evidence of them doing things, but it's not going to catch on, because here we have the Two of Wands. They haven't got a real strategy because they're juvenile. This is the Page of Pentacles. They're young in the head. They might be 45 or 62, but they have the emotional age of like 14 to 15-year-old boys. And this is going to bring them undone in the end, which is why so many of them are sitting in jail going, where's my bail, Mr. President? You know, you said you'd look after me. And by then too, more of these court cases will be coming on stream. And these guys are going to, one by one, be really disenchanted that they didn't get the Flynn treatment, they didn't get the Roger Stone treatment, because they're nobodies and not rich white men. So that's going to be a revelation for them. Oh, you mean that the rich stick together and they don't care about us? Now there is a blinding flash for you, pet.
There's your I told you so from karma. It's
yeah, really. Really.
Well, from one interesting person to the next. Netanyahu, he has his opposition party is trying to remove him. Will they be successful?
Well, it's a hard one, you know, because for those of you who don't follow Israeli politics closely, and I follow it a bit, but I wouldn't say close, but what I do know is Netanyahu could only survive all these years by aligning himself with the extreme right. Right, he was sort of middle of the road, leaning right, and he had to get the support of the far, far right to govern. So the opposition that we're about to read on is roughly still half the Israeli population. He needs two parties to get the other half to stay in power. Do you see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's not as though the whole of Israel are these right-wing fiends, you know. It's very much split, but we'll see. Will they be able to vote him out? But that's what they're up against, this combination of parties. Just gives them the edge, just gives them the edge, you know. And they've had more elections than we've had hot dinners, I tell you. They go to polls every half an hour. Look, it's just awful for people. Okay. So I guess it's the same question as, will Netanyahu be voted out? Is that the same question? Yeah.
Because they're trying to, they call it the opposition. There was a collection of parties, like you say.
Yeah, that's what they had to do to counteract this other two mergers, right? So this, oh, look, I wish them like, what's happening here? Netanyahu be voted out. Netanyahu. I wonder. What are you looking at with your cards, John?
I get that there's a very good attempt, but ultimately it sort of goes back to the way it was with the Four of Swords and the Six of Cups. But the Ace of Cups, there's, like I said, there's a very good attempt, but the Seven of Cups crosses it. So there might be something unexplained going on just yet, or there may be some sifting through other options. Maybe the first plan doesn't work, because I get the Fool and the Star. Like, there's something good going forward. They just have a really hard time trying to get here. So it's not a clear cut, they get to get him out type of thing.
Right.
What I get.
And mine too isn't clear cut, but it's in two parts. So the first part, Queen of Wands, the Sun, and Three of Cups, women celebrating. Women, women, women. So I suspect what's happening, what this is talking about, is they haven't had a female leader since Golda Meir or something in the 50s or 60s or something. I think a woman has to have cut through, but not yet. So I think while they're reaching out and brokering these new temporary deals and alliances, they're not going to quite have the numbers. But this connection is being made. And I think this is going to be really important in the future. I didn't see that coming. But I agree with you, not yet. There'll be lots of attempts to try and change people's minds or to push people to understanding there are many issues now, as opposed to, it's like every government in the world isn't governing. They're all just ass covering. That's what their job description is now, ass covering, not governing. And so these people, including the women, are saying, we've got issues to deal with. Can't you get that through your thick heads? But no, they can't, because this is the boys who keep, going around in circles. But it's going to be the beginnings. This next layer is not going to make it, but has huge potential. They're going to start again, reinvent the party, and then a new beginning. And this might represent younger people too, coming into voting age, who don't want to automatically be conscripted to the Israeli army, and stuff, and their mothers. Right. So I think there's a change ahead, just not yet.
That's what I get. Yeah. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Cha-Cha. So Vladimir Putin and Joe Biden are going to meet in Switzerland. Is this
Joe Biden meeting?
Joe Biden meeting Vladimir Putin in Switzerland. This is going to be their first face-to-face, I guess.
Don't eat anything, Joe.
I'm saying. And so how will this go? Will it be just hi, how you doing? Because I don't really see them coming to some sort of peace agreement. So is it just going to be, I guess, keeping up appearances?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Laurie. Laurie's having surgery as we speak now. Just take a moment. The meeting of Biden and Putin. Biden and Putin. What are you?
You say don't eat anything. There's a mouse in the teacup in this.
Oh, that is so funny.
Oh, goodness.
What? I don't understand these cards.
Me either. Thank you, Anna.
It must be cryptic. I never do clarifiers. I'm going to have to pull some clarifiers.
I stopped pulling because I'm going to use all 78 cards here in a minute. So.
Yeah, that's right. Isn't it weird that it is like that? It is so. I just expected, they'll have a chat and nothing will happen, but there's more layers here, intrepid viewers. Look.
I get the 4 of Pentacles, right? That was my first card. So
yeah,
whatever it is that is between the two, whatever it is that's being stuck or held on to, I get the 10 of Swords and the Tower. It's like,
whoa.
I'm not even I don't even want to go to even what those cards could mean. So it's
no.
And then I get the King of Cups, which is Biden, and the 3 of Pentacles. There is a meeting of superpowers or some sort of collaborative effort that goes very wrong, but I don't know. I'm just going to say I don't know. Something just goes left.
And I don't think I can throw much more light on it. I mean, the whole world is involved for obvious reasons. People are sick of being disappointed and nothing happening, going around in circles. They know that. So they're going to try and put a spin on it. Here's the sun, which I don't understand in this context, except to say they're going to try and nod and shake hands in, make a look of it. But Biden, I think this is the new leader, in this case, Biden. So it's his time to work out how on earth he is going to deal with Putin, because none of them have the power that Putin has in his back pocket. Oh, as someone said, watch your underpants, Joe. Yeah, that's true. So he's going to be probably the sterner Biden than we're used to seeing, not the warm and fuzzy Biden. I think he's going to be quite businesslike, but actually they're not going to talk about anything of substance. It's sort of thing. So then I pulled some of my little oracle cards, and it says, look, peacocks, I mean, I don't think of Biden particularly as an egotistical man, but you don't get to be president of America without having a bit of ego going on.
You got to have a little bit.
And Putin has enough for both of them. So the oracle cards were actually more revealing in the sense, this is about the peacocks posing, waiting for the next installment. This is someone writing the novel, and it's called The Next Chapter in Italian. They're both going to go away and rethink things and have to work out their new positions, because Biden, if nothing else, is not going to give Putin the slack he has enjoyed for so long. But Biden's caught, I think, if he's pulling troops out of Afghanistan, it's really obvious that the Taliban are going to fill that vacuum. Russia always works behind the scenes with those. So Biden would have been smarter, I think, to not announce the troop withdrawal till after he met Vladimir, but it's out now. So that weakens Biden in Putin's view. So I think nothing is going to change. I don't think either of them will be impressed with the other, but it's not going to lead to anything significant.
No. Because I think when you get sworn, thank you, Linda, when you get sworn in, your automatic enemy is Jean-On and Putin. Like that's the ones they hate from the ground up to the top of their head. We do a couple more here. What is the plan for, because I read today that there are certain Republican hopefuls that are running for president. They have ghost campaigns at the moment.
Yeah.
Where they're trying to garner support outside of the view of Donald Trump, not to upset him and for him to sick his dogs on you. So what is their plan to actually run for president? Are they going to try to get Don out of the way, or are they going to continue to do it in secret until he can't do nothing about it?
Until they work out if they've got the numbers or something. Okay, so the ghost campaigns for president. Well, that's juicy. Ghost campaigns. Ghost campaign. Ghost campaigns.
And thank you, Lisa, for posting the questions there too. Well, I don't think it's going to go very well. Mine's ends in the Ten of Swords.
And mine in the Three of Swords. Oh, how funny. Yeah.
Mine starts with Temperance and the Sun. This is not going to.
Oh, Temperance.
It's not going to stay that way. It's not going to stay hidden.
No.
You're going to listen, Republicans. Never mind the reading and all this here. You have to confront the bear in the room.
Yeah.
Or unless you just want him to eat all your snacks and you too, then you're going to have to do something. 4 of Pentacles, 4 of Swords. You can't just sit back like nothing's happening. Because he's not going to win. So if he is the one y'all going to pick for the nominee again, that is going to be a guarantee for whoever it's Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, whoever it is. He's not going to win. People's votes were literally thrown away, thrown in the lake, drowned. Like they got rid of a lot of people's votes and he lost anyway. They cheated in just about every state that they possibly could and he lost anyway. Yeah. It's not a good idea. You have to confront this now. It ends in the 10 of Swords. Like you have to confront this now. Otherwise, you lose again.
Look, exactly. This is the Wheel of Fortune that, you know, they think they're starting fresh. They think, you know, that this will work and that this is the way through. Temperance, trying to represent an alternative to the Yeti. But here's the 7 of Wands. It means they're left there. They're neither fish nor fowl or whatever the expression is. They're neither one thing or the other. People just see them as being weak, for want of a better word, but they are embattled by they're hedged in by their own people. And so the Ace of Cups here, the shiny diamond that they're trying to bring forward, will be restricted by the Hierophant. And I don't think the Christians are too embarrassed to admit they got it wrong with Trump. So they'd rather stay with him than go. I think they're going to try the religious card, the Mitt Romneys and the different ones saying, let's come back to our true Christian values and la, la, la. But they're left with people who can't actually back away from it. You know, individuals have been, but you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? They can't admit they were that wrong. So therefore they're going to point the finger back at this new attempt at these ghost parties, and it's going to end in tears.
Yep, I know of a church I used to go to back in the day. This is way before Donald Trump, but Obama was not their cup of tea, naturally, because they were very conservative. They lived the Bible. Like women couldn't wear pants, men couldn't have long hair. They lived the Bible, right? I showed up one day in a necklace and like 9 people died because it was the worst thing ever, right? And so they like the fact that Republican means I don't care for women's rights and gay rights and like things that take the white men down a peg. Republicans mean white men elevated and then everybody else is sort of behind. And so that's the kind of church they were. And so they never could admit when a Republican was a horrible person. Never mind made horrible decisions, was just a horrible person. They couldn't say that. Pray for them anyway. Okay, well, they're fine anyway. Before we go, I want to say thank you to Lena once again for joining me.
My pleasure.
Shout out to Jen, who's in Sedona in the desert. It looks hot. She showed us a picture. There was a Christmas tree there, so they're following her around. And then to Becca, who is off the grid in the woods somewhere. And prayers for Lori, who's having appendix surgery as we speak, or at least
hopefully it's over now and she's out.
Yes, hopefully. And so she said I asked her how she was feeling. She beforehand said she was just a little nauseous, but she was okay. Her brother's still there, so she's got somebody to take her to and fro. Some out of space news. Let's leave Earth for a moment. Our last read. They have sent, everybody sent, China and America and everybody in the world has sent something to Mars to go have a look around.
Oh, yeah.
Will they find anything newsworthy other than just old red rocks? Will there be anything? Will something walk? Because I've been looking at it just for the small hope that something walked past the screen. So just like, will there be anything?
Anything out of the Mars probes. Anything out of the Mars probes. Anything out of the Mars probes. Anything out of the Mars probes.
Dirt and rocks or what?
Anything out of Oh, I didn't expect that. Okay. Will I kick off?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the first one's the Two of Cups, which is just, to me, they are going to find something, but it's also about cooperation to some extent. That changes in a few cards' time, but this is have a kick off. The King of Wands, I think this is, it could even be a country. It could be China or the US or something, but it could be a big organization like NASA or the equivalent or whatever is looking at this. So they do find something, but they don't know what it is they've found. Right. But they're prepared to fight for it, which is interesting. So I get that it might be some rare earth minerals or something like that, because here's the Ten of Pentacles. This involves truckloads of money. Right. So I think they're going to find something rare that they think will, that the King of Wands thinks will translate into the edge and a lot of money in the future, some sort of thing like that. What did you get, Joe?
They always say if we learn to mine asteroids, then you'll have the first trillionaire, because there's a lot of minerals and gold and platinum and all that type of stuff that are just loose rocks flying through space, that if you can land on it, mine it, get back, then you got tons of money. I start with the Eight of Swords. I don't think it's out of the ordinary as far as scientists can sort of guess, not guess, but they can factor, because math is the language of the universe. They can factor what is there and what's probably not there.
Yeah.
But there is some sort of, I get airborne here with the Earth, well, not the Earth, but the world, which is probably Mars, and the Eight of Wands. So there might be some gases, some, like you said, minerals, some sort of thing that they can pick up and take off type of thing, or at the very least discover. But this does come back to a governmental thing, where the question we have now is who owns the moon? Who owns Mars?
Yeah, exactly.
This part of it, who owns that?
Yeah.
Part of it?
Yeah.
So I think that they will find something harvestable, but who does it belong to? And so, yeah, nothing really, you know, no creatures walking or nothing. But
yeah, I didn't get, actual entities. It doesn't mean they're not there. Just I didn't pick up on.
They say that the tardigrade comes from Mars, so maybe we'll see. I did a reading on that once before. I think that is where it comes from, because it can't be killed by, well, it can be, but it's not killed by natural things like high radiation. You can freeze it and add water and it comes back to life. So it's something that had to come from elsewhere, because you can't do that to anything else down here and it's still alive, except for that. So it's our alien walking around here, I think. Well, anyway, thank you again, Lena, for joining me. And
thank you for inviting me. And you guys have been fantastic. So enjoy your Sunday. I'm on Monday morning. I'm just starting my working week.
And next week we shall be on Becca, the House of Lenormand's channel. So we will see y'all there. Y'all have a good night.
Cool, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.